The Penguin is terrible. It's horrible. It's disgusting. And that's exactly how it should be. And I want to talk about that. Hey there, this is your Matt Doodle, Thomas Hands, Doodle here with another video. And today, I'd like to talk about The Penguin and how much this show makes you realize why there needs to be a Batman at all. Because, there's always shown how Gotham is, how greedy, how sleazy it is, but it usually just feels like a city, a regular one. Nothing really feels like it's impossible to, live in or to escape. But in this show, it makes you understand why it's almost impossible to be a good person. Why a lot of people just go to crime. Why there needs to be someone to protect them besides the police. Because here's something I do want to say right now. That's a little spoiler from the Batman. Or hasn't watched this show, please go watch both of them. This will make more sense if you do. Because in the movie, almost every bad cop that was in Falcone's pocket is gone. They were weeded out because of the first movie's plot and everything like that. Maybe there's some corruption, but it's so little that it doesn't really help. So it's showing that even if you have good cops and good people, this city needs a lot of help, especially what would happen in the show. And the person who takes advantage of that, the Penguin, is a good way of showing them from being a bottom tier villain to be one of the biggest, baddest villains to Batman, who needs to get his shit rocked so much by Batman. Even though Batman is supposed to be, a better person. No. This guy needs to get beat up so bad to the point where his bones are just gone. And you know what's something I really love about this show too? They kept the Penguin being a terrible person. He is not a good person at all. Yes, he does things that make him seem sympathetic, but that's as far as it goes. You know everything he's doing is a bad thing. He is literally still being a criminal, but you kind of want to root for him because you want to see how he gets there, but you're also horrified on how he's going to get there. Because in most heroic stories, or anytime they make him into an anti-hero or someone who's supposed to be more heroic, they're going to do good things. But the Penguin in this entire show has done almost nothing good. Except one thing. But even that, he comes back from it. Because in the beginning of the show, they introduce this character named Victor, who just seems like someone who's lost in the world. Because in the show, it shows that, his parents were killed in the flood from the first movie. And it showed that the Riddler, who was trying to stop the rich people, stop all the bad people in Gotham, just made it worse for the people who need help. And Victor's family was a byproduct of that. And it showed what this city does to someone who's like that, who has parents who try to teach him. But because Gotham takes everything, he was by himself, or at least with some low-level gang people. And he got himself in the crossfires of the Penguin, which is horrible. And the Penguin is no joke. This Penguin is a complete psychopath. Because in the beginning of the show, they show you how this Penguin is not a good person at all by literally killing Carmine Falcone's son because Alberto, which was his name, I think, quote-unquote, disrespected the Penguin or made fun of him. So the Penguin, out of anger and annoyance, literally just killed him, starting a complete chain of reaction that technically caused the Penguin to be number one. So you know what he does? He tries to bury the body. So he goes to his car where it shows Victor is trying to get the tires because he has no home anymore. Which is, I think it's a reference to the comics where Batman found Jason taking the Batmobile's tires. I don't know if that's a reference, but it probably is. I don't know. But instead of, someone, taking care of him, no, the Penguin's ready to shoot everyone. But he misses Victor, and Victor's just there. He's stuck. He can't do anything. So the Penguin has a plan to use this guy to take this body and throw it out. And the Penguin makes that 100% clear to Victor, saying, hey, you do exactly what I say or you're dead. You are going to die. And he says that with such calmness that it's freaky because when the Penguin, makes him accomplice, he basically just acts him like he's just a regular guy, like he's his buddy, like he's nothing. But that's something I really like about the show. Because of how the Penguin is and how this world is constructed, you are tensed every moment anything happens on screen to the point you don't know what's going to happen. Because literally by the end of the first episode, Pause. It was actually much earlier in the episode. I just thought it was the end because I don't script these videos. I just go off memory when I talk about them. That's why. Anyway, let's get back to the video. The Penguin says he's gonna kill Vic. He does not make an assumption. He's not giving him like a choice. He's making it just saying, hey, I'm gonna kill you now. But Victor, thank God, he finds a way to survive by literally doing anything, by saying, I will help you. I can do things for you. And the Penguin's just kind of like, fine, you know what? We'll be fully friends now. As if he wasn't ready to literally end him. And here, this is actually something I actually do also really like about this show, which is funny because it's literally a crime show, technically. That they have good representation of someone with a disability. Because Victor has stutters. Victor stutters. And they don't treat it like it's a big deal. They just treat it like it's a part of Vic. Which is funny because we get to see that the Penguin is kind of patient about that. Every time Vic is slow, I am so worried. I was so worried that Penguin was not going to have patience because of literally how well we saw in the first few minutes of the show. But no, he has weird patience with him. And the weird manipulation that the Penguin does to this poor guy is horrifying. As the show, he corrupts him. But there's this point where Vic had a chance to escape. He found his girlfriend, and he was ready to leave. But because the Penguin used textbook abuse tactics, he made Victor feel like, I need to be the bigger man. He basically fed into his worst impulses to the point where that's going to be terrible for Vic because his girlfriend leaves. And then that leads me to other characters. I was mainly talking about them because they are literally the main characters in this show. But I do want to talk about other characters like the Falcones and Maronis. I'm going to be very honest. I am not a huge fan of the gangster, mob boss type thing of Batman. Not that I don't like it. I do. I like, Batman Year One, the comic and the movie, and I like anything with it. But it's kind of like, like a beginning Batman thing. It's not something I like to see over and over because Batman doesn't need to improve. If that makes sense, that's just me. I know a lot of people tend to like that stuff because it's more grounded. But because I don't know too much about them, I don't know the history. Because, yes, I knew that Carmine Falcone is a terrible person. We saw him in the first movie. I knew that in the comics, Thomas Wayne healed Carmine and they became kind of semi-buddies. So there's things I do know because that's kind of just what happens. But majority of it, I don't. Like Sofia Falcone, I did not know who that was in this show. And what I love what this show does is it shows that you don't need to know anyone in this character. If you don't know who Oz is, you don't know who Oz is. You don't know who Falcone is, you don't know who Falcone is. And they just show you who they are as people, what they do. And it's good. Because they show you the corruption of Arkham in this show, which is awesome. I heard how they were going to try to make an Arkham show, and then they were going to do it to someone else, but they kind of mixed it here because of how they portray Arkham. Arkham is a shit show. It is a terrible place. And the person they focus on to show how Arkham is terrible is Sofia Falcone. In the majority of the show, she is already kind of, twisted. You're kind of freaked out by her in every scene. You're kind of wondering why. Why is everyone afraid of this woman? And then slowly in the show, you find out, or supposedly find out, that she has killed so many women by choking them, by strangling them, and they call her the hangman. But with context clues, you realize that is not what she did at all. And you find out that her dad, Carmine Falcone, did it, and you can actually kind of look back at the first movie to show that he does that often. And if you put that movie and this show together, you realize that that's what he did. And when it finds the actual reveal, you know what Carmine does? He puts Sofia in Arkham for 10 years. Usually Arkham is supposed to be a hospital, right? It's supposed to rehabilitate people. No, Arkham is horrible. Arkham is not a place you should be at all. Because Sofia is surprisingly a good person, even though her dad is literally a monster, a mob boss. And she actually tries to do good. To the point where she finds out what her dad did, which was kill her mom and a lot of women. Carmine just puts her in like it's nothing to it. And the Penguin ratted out Sofia because he knew that she knew what Carmine did. And it was horrible. Because what happened in Arkham was just break her down to the point that it did make her go insane. Because by the time she was supposed to get out, they stopped it. And she could not leave to the point where now she actually did kill someone. And it was a cool little reference to see Magpie in the show. I first knew about her in Beware the Batman show, which is kind of cool. But that's how far the corruption is seeped in this world to make you realize why someone as crazy as Batman is sane to a world like this and why there will be monsters. But back to the Penguin. The way he takes over everything is by using his silver tongue. He never tells the truth or just tells half truth to the point where he lies to everyone to get what he wants, even to the point where he's going to die, or even let his mom die. Because that's actually something I also want to talk about. His mom. His mom has dementia, so that's sad. But she also seems like a terrible person. And I'm like, you know what? That's probably why the Penguin is the way he is. That's probably why he is a horrible monster, right? Because of his mom. She basically tells him what to do to be better, to hide the body of Falcone's son. So you're like, you know what? It's probably, it's terrible, right? But no, we find out that one Penguin had brothers and they died when they were young. And then you realize that he basically killed them when he was a kid because he wanted his mom's love so much, to the point where now it's just creepy how he treats his mom. And his mom was ready to end him or get someone else to end him, but she wanted to survive. She wanted the life that, was rich and everything like that. So technically that was the way to technically reel the Penguin in. So seeing how she is, it is kind of sad. But again, I don't have a lot of sympathy for her because she still got the Penguin to that point. But she acts like she doesn't know that the Penguin did it to, not die. And that's how the show shows that no one's a good person, but there are people you want to root for, or you want people to succeed. And that's how you do it right. I have been sick and tired of how Sony has been trying to make all of Spider-Man's villains just anti-heroes. I'm fine with the Venom, because Venom technically has been more of a hero than he has been a bad guy. But other characters like Morbius, Kraven the Hunter, is so weird. And we know that's just not good. That's not even the characters. But this show shows you that you do not need a good person to be the main lead. You just need someone you can empathize with, because that's what the Penguin does. He tricks us. Because of his silver tongue, he makes us feel like he is for the people. He is giving people jobs. He is giving people opportunities to get higher up in the criminal empire. But because of how the show is structured and how it's shown, no, the Penguin does not care about the people. He does not. He lets people die and then says that it's someone else. And that's how he gets what he wants. Because of Sophia and how she was going crazy, she murdered her family and then tried to make her own gang. But the Penguin finds a way to get a higher official to put her in prison again. And then, because of the plot of the show, every family, of the gangsters is just gone. And I really recommend you to watch the show to understand what I'm talking about, because it's really complicated on how did they get to that point. And this is where you remember that the Penguin is a horrible monster, because when he was tricking us, Victor, he has been a part of this entire thing. He could have left, but he didn't. So he's been helping the Penguin over and over to getting to the point of being on top. You know how the Penguin congratulates him? He doesn't let him be with him, when he gets higher up, and that's what we're hoping for. No, he just throws him away like he is trash, like he is nothing. And I literally mean like nothing, because he chokes him out and tosses him and just takes his money like it's nothing. And his mom had a stroke and keeps her alive as like a sick trophy. Gets one of his showgirls to act like her, telling her he's proud of and doing all the weird stuff. But we have hope, because at the end of the show, we see the bat symbol, and that is one of the best endings I've seen to a show almost ever, because now we know how the Penguin is. We were sympathizing with him. We were hoping for him to, get to the higher tub with Victor, with people he could trust, but no, it's all by himself. And we do that 180 where we were like, Batman, kick his ass. He needs to go down. I know, Batman, you don't kill, but I would really like for you to channel your inner absolute Batman and chop his hand off, okay? That's all I ask. But dang, this show was so good. I'm not usually one for just seeing just depression in shows a lot of times, or seeing something be horrible and sad and no hope in it. But this show did it so well, to the point where you just want to see more of this character and how he succeeds or fails, because that's what I'd rather see. And I feel like we just need to see more shows like it. Not exactly like it. Like, we don't just need to see like Two-Face the show or Poison Ivy the show or something like that, because I don't think they're going to show things like that. Maybe Two-Face. But I do want to see more shows take their villains and make them villains and not heroes or anti-heroes. They need to be sick and gross, but in a way where you can like try to get invested. And I need to apologize to Matt Reeves, because I was genuinely super worried. One, because of the last name they changed for him, because originally Oswald's last name is Cobblepot in the comics. But they changed it for this show to Oswald Comp because he's not supposed to be rich. And originally, I was annoyed with it, but they really barely say his name, so I was a little more like, okay, you know what? That's fine. I don't really care. Maybe he's gonna change it because now he's rich now and now he has everything he wants. But, I'm a little like, it doesn't matter because everyone just says call him Oz or now the Penguin. So I apologize to that front. And I was worried also because he said that he just wanted to have a more realistic show. But they did get a little freaky about it because no one is sane, if that makes sense. And I just find that really cool. And I want to thank Matt Roof so much. But hey, those are just my thoughts on The Penguin. What did you think of the show? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Do you like the fact that Penguin is an actual villain? Or did you want him to also be kind of more of a sympathetic bad guy in the show? I'd really like to know. Did you like how sick this show also showed how Gotham is? Do you feel like there needs to be a Batman because of how this was portrayed? Again, I'd really like to know. But if there's nothing else, this has been Doodlemite. I hope everyone stays dirty, and I hope to see everyone in the next video. Bye.